For the third day now, Mayor Adams has announced that budget cuts are being reversed at various city departments.
First it was police and firefighters, then sanitation, and now schools. Fox 5's Morgan McKay is live in studio with these course reversals. And Morgan, a lot of people wondering if the mayor needed to make these cuts in the first place.
Yes, Steve and Natasha, Council Speaker Adrian Adams, along with other city council members, out with a statement just a short time ago calling for the restoration of cuts, saying that the city's children deserve a responsible budget, not one that is based on, quote, overly exaggerated estimates. But Mayor Eric Adams doubling down today that these cuts they are restoring are minimal and the budget deficit is still in the billions. For the third time in a week, Mayor Eric Adams announcing that he will be restoring some budget cuts he made late last year. This time, he will be restoring the cuts he made to 170 community schools and the Summer Rising program. Additionally, the Summer Rising program will now be funded by the city instead of the temporary COVID federal stimulus funds.
It keeps our kids engaged during the summer months, aggressively tackles learning loss from the pandemic, and supports our families with childcare and daily meals for their kids.
Adams says he is able to restore some of these budget cuts due to better than expected tax revenues and 20% reduction in migrant services. Earlier this week, he restored budget cuts he made to the NYPD, FDNY, and the sanitation department. However, critics say the restoration of these cuts are evidence that the mayor has been exaggerating a budget crisis. Adams responded by saying,
and I send the wrong message to Washington, D.C. We've been very consistent. These numbers have been analyzed. And let's say someone has a $100 million difference. Okay, great. We still have a multi-billion-dollar crisis that we are facing.
However, Congressman Jerry Nadler on Thursday seemed to downplay the migrant crisis during a House Judiciary hearing.
Mayor Adams announced just yesterday that he is reversing all anticipated budget cuts for the NYPD, the FDNY, and likely the library, school, and other social services programs as well, which he had originally said were needed due to the arrival of migrants in New York.
Yet this is not true, and Adams emphasized on Friday that the city still needs to close a $7 billion budget gap, and the cuts they restored altogether total out to less than $200 million. The New York City Independent Budget Office has a much lower estimate on the size of the budget deficit, but says they will be watching the mayor's budget address closely next Tuesday.
The mayor has to show how he's going to close that gap. And part of that will be recognizing more money coming in, and also, we don't know, but possibly more cuts somewhere.
Now, Governor Kathy Hochul is also giving her budget address next Tuesday, and many will be watching closely to see how much she wants to allocate to the city when it comes to the migrant crisis. Steve and Natasha.
Yeah, all right, thanks, Morgan.